Welcome to Motherhood at its finest, where we talk about how the endless love, laughter, chaos, challenges, and sometimes even heartbreak of motherhood intertwine. Whether you're an expectant mother with no idea what to expect, a new mom trying to navigate their way through the trenches for the first time, or a seasoned mama with years of experience, we're thrilled to have you join us on this journey. This podcast is your safe haven, 100% judgment-free space where we celebrate the joys, share the struggles, and empower each other as we explore the unpredictable and ever-evolving world of motherhood. So whether you're on the move with your kiddos or able to settle in your comfiest spot with your favorite drink, get ready to indulge in relatable stories, valuable insights, and plenty of laughter one episode at a time. On that note, welcome to our side of the hood, motherhood. Let's dive in, mamas. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 4. Thank you for sticking with us through that last episode. It was a little bit heavy, but it was definitely something that needed to be talked about.
And it was a little bit longer than our usual.
Yes.
So,
but we didn't want to cut out any of, the good healing kind of stuff that comes with that episode. But this episode is going to be a little bit more light and fun. We're going to talk about our pregnancies and kind of what we did or didn't like about our pregnancies, what were the hard parts, things that our significant others, the dads, did for us that made our pregnancy easier or harder.
harder. But before we keep going with this episode, I did, while listening to our last episode, I did want to touch on one thing that I forgot to talk about just really quickly was the dads behind all of this. Because I feel like sometimes people were so worried about like what's going on with the mom. Like people were asking about me and how I was doing. But at the same time, like in the back of my mind, I would always think about Paul as well, because Paul was going through it as much as I was. I mean, physically and all of that, obviously, I was going through it, but he had to watch me go through all of the trauma and all of the things that my body was doing and all of that. So I just want to make sure that we shed a little bit of light on the dads as well in this situation, because they deserve just as much credit. So
and compassion.
Yeah, some
because
compassion
I feel like
too.
Guys always feel like they need to be the strong one.
Yeah.
They can't show emotion, because they don't want to make it worse, or they don't want to like seem weak. I know that there's that like stigma for men. And so I think a lot of times in these situations, the dad's feelings kind of go unseen. So that is a very good point.
Yeah. So I just want to I wanted to put that out there just as a reminder that as much as we're checking on mom, guy friends also check on your dad friends too, because it's just as hard. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Like Paul kept it together so much for me for so long that I don't think he allowed himself to kind of feel everything either, because he was too busy making sure that I was going to be okay. So just remember to show them some love and some compassion, because they need it just as much as mom does. So that's just one thing that I had forgotten, and I wanted to make sure that I kind of touched on it this time. So, but yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and so we did a poll on our Instagram page, and we asked how many have. There was 2 different polls. There was one that said how many have experienced or know someone that has experienced difficulties with infertility, and 100% of people, 100% of people voted said yes. And same with the poll that we asked, if they had either struggled with losing a child through miscarriage or know somebody that had. It was 100% again.
That's
so
a
like
lot.
That is how many, like how important it is to talk about it, because so many people go through it. So that was honestly shocking to me, and that and there were quite a bit of votes. So like I thought maybe at least one would be like, no, like I haven't ever.
Yeah, I feel like at some point or another you're going to run into somebody, or somebody's going to open up about their infertility issues or having lost child through like miscarriage. I feel like we all know somebody, like we were talking about, it's 1 in every 4 women that go through have a miscarriage. So that's kind of crazy. That is a big number. And infertility, I mean, it could go any direction. It could be many reasons why somebody can't have children. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think that it was going to be that high. I
Yeah.
thought that at least it was going to be like 70 or 80,
Yeah, me too.
but
I was
for
like,
both of
I
them to be
thought
100.
at least like one or two both would be like, no, like I don't know
Mm-hmm.
anybody that's gone through it, and I have never been through it.
Yeah.
Because before before like your experience, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had never dealt with that or like
Yeah.
know somebody that had. So it was like, what do I do? You know.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
so
think it's
true,
been being talked about more too,
which is
which
good.
is good.
I feel like there's got to be more light shed on it. We myself personally working in with the public, I'm a barber, so I come in contact with so many people. Um and people that I have had in my chair for years and years now. Um I can tell when something is going on. And so one of my clients actually opened up to me. He's like, we can't have children. And
Mm.
so it's been really hard on them because sometimes like it could either be the man or the woman that is struggling with infertility. In this case, it's a male.
Mm.
And so he's like, you
Sorry.
don't even imagine what that makes me feel like as a man that I can't help my wife have a child.
Yeah, that's
So
hard.
yeah,
I
it's
can't even
crazy. Like
imagine.
there's so many different factors that can play into infertility. So it's not always necessarily us as women. So again, we've got to make sure that we include the men that we know in our lives and be able to give them that support too.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's all the real feedback that we got. But with so we asked also um, with pregnancy, how many of like your pregnancy from episode two,
mhm,
how many were planned versus how many of our like pregnancies were surprises,
mhm,
and 88% was
planned.
planned, and just only 22 were surprised. I was like, how part of the
Hey.
22?
Well,
But
mine was like planned, but also we weren't expecting it.
that okay,
So where does that fall? Planned?
that's I feel like that's where kind of we
That's a
lie
gift.
too, because
Yeah.
like we weren't like it wasn't planned like, okay, we're gonna do it. Like
This
I'm
is
ovulating, like we
when
need
you're
to do
right.
it right
Uh-huh.
now.
Hmm.
But we also weren't being like
Super
super
cautious.
careful.
Yeah.
And so when it happened, we're like,
We didn't think it was gonna happen that fast.
yeah, didn't
Like
think it
we
was gonna
saw it
happen
coming.
that fast, but like it's not really a surprise. We're like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, like that makes sense, you know?
Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Or do I?
Well,
Anyway.
anyway,
But yeah, so like Mandy talked about overall, was that all the polls we had?
yeah, that was
Yeah.
all the polls that we
Okay.
had.
Cool.
And thank you guys for doing those and interacting with us on there. We really appreciate it.
It's fun. It's fun to see those
Hmm.
like numbers go up and down,
Yeah,
and it's
see what
really
people
cool.
think. But,
So now, like, she said we were going to talk about our pregnancies and our
hmm.
experiences with our spouses or
Hmm.
significant others um, during our pregnancy. So if you want to start with this one,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, we have a surprise at the end for you
yeah,
guys. We are adding a new cast member.
yeah,
So we
we're
will
pretty
kind of
excited about
introduce
that.
them at the end. But I will get started with my story. So just make sure you stick with us till the end to meet them. And yeah, so we're
Yeah,
super excited about it.
it's gonna
So,
be way fun. I'm really excited. This is gonna be good. So
yeah.
yeah.
So with Leo, when I was pregnant, uh, we found out, after a couple months of dating that I was pregnant. And Taylor had wanted more when we met, like we both had talked about wanting more kids and stuff. He has two girls and they're 14 months apart. And so that, like, he's been a single dad most of their life. And so he's had a lot of experience
Mm-hmm.
raising these girls. And uh, so, and I immediately fell in love with them
Mm-hmm.
after meeting him and them. And so we talked about it, and I was like, yeah, I do. Like, I've always wanted two kids of my own. And he wanted more kids before he was 30. So we're like, okay. Like, So that was like, that's very long, but I don't want to wait very long either to start having kids. So we were kind of on the same page with that. And then when my doctor was like, "Oh, it's gonna take you forever to get pregnant. Let's get you off the birth control and everything." It happened
Pretty
pretty
quickly.
quickly. Um, but yeah, when I found out, he was super supportive and super happy and excited, which was so good because I was always scared of being in like a situation where it was like it wasn't a exciting thing,
Yeah.
where I'd be like scared of like, how am I going to do this? Am I going to do this alone?
Right.
I never had any doubt in my mind that Taylor would be there to be a great dad and help me raise this child and have us do it together. But so once we found out I was pregnant, a couple months later, he got a job offer in North Carolina. I know this is dramatic. I know. But he got a job offer in North Carolina. That was something that we just really couldn't pass up because he was going there to sell solar, which at that time was making so much money that I was like, well, we need all the money we can get. We're having a new baby, and so we figured out a way that we could move there and still come back and see his girls every month and see my family and stuff. So uh, I agreed to go out there uh, with him. We moved across the country while I was like 16 months pregnant.
16
16
months?
months. Oh my gosh.
Damn.
That would suck so
Wait,
bad
isn't
if it
there
was
like
that long.
like
I think
is
it's
it
an elephant.
cows?
Oh,
Oh.
what
Get
did
out
I
of my
do?
head.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
What some animal is
16 weeks, guys.
is pregnant forever. I was not pregnant that long. Thank God.
I'm like, what were you having? Like
Jesus.
15 kids?
Thank you, Jesus. No, 16 weeks, not 16 months, 16 weeks. I was 16 weeks pregnant. We drove from Utah all the way to Monroe, North Carolina, where we were renting a house. And it was so freaking hard.
Yeah.
Being away from family and like being pregnant for the first time. And Taylor was working like 14, 16-hour days, just like hustling out there. And we only had one car. So half the
Oh
time I
my
literally was just like
gosh.
stuck at home all day, but I worked from home too. So like I would work and like I pregnancy was so hard for
It
me
was. I remember.
because I get so sick when I'm pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So freaking sick. And that was one of the hardest things because on the way out there, I cannot tell you how many times I had to make Taylor pull over so I could throw up because like there was one part where we were driving and we went through this like small like farm town and it was just straight like manure smell and we were stuck in construction so he couldn't pull over anywhere and so he's like searching for bags. I'm like, I'm gonna throw up and like I'm trying to keep my shit together. And it's like a couple exits away from where we were gonna stay.
Yeah.
And he's like, just hold it in, just hold it. I was like, I can't, I'm gonna throw up. And we find a Ziploc bag, and I'm just like,
Oh my
like throwing
gosh.
up. And Taylor's trying not to throw up because he's like the smell
Yeah.
so bad, and
Oh
like
my gosh.
hearing me throw up was so hard. And he's like, he's all sitting there trying to like not to look at me. Lily's in the back crying, like
She's
whining and
dry
crying.
heaving
Yeah.
as well.
And so, and then we have just this like Ziploc.
That is filthy.
And we didn't have anywhere to like throw it.
Oh
So
my
I just like
gosh.
sitting there holding my all the way to
Can
the
you hurry up
hotel.
and get there?
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
gosh.
I need gum and I need to brush my teeth. And like I'm crying because I'm just like so miserable. Mom, like, get out of it. He's like, I can't go anywhere. We're stuck in freaking just like one lane traffic that's like at a standstill. It was the freaking worst part of that whole entire drive there. But yeah, so I was pregnant pretty much by myself there, and like
I know.
I
I
had
would like
to.
call the time.
Yeah, it was so hard though, and like for all of my OB appointments, I had 5 different OBs with Leo because
That's wild.
I had one when I first found out I was pregnant, because I was having a lot of pain in one of my sides, And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is ectopic pregnancy. Because,
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
that's where my mind goes. So I
Because
just,
we spiral.
I freaked out. And so I was like, I need to be seen today. And so I saw Kelsey Rodriguez, and she was like, oh, like I'm a part of this like group where we don't like, that's not like certain that like I'll be the one delivering your baby. It's
Okay.
like on call. And I was like, well, like I want a woman doctor. Like I don't want guy. I can't do the guy OBs. I can't do it.
I don't blame you.
It's so hard for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But
I know
was
so
the
many
same
people
way.
that like tell me, like guy OBGYNs are like the way to go there.
Yeah.
So
But I
like
feel this, and this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Don't come at me. But I
Don't come at
feel
me.
like a female OB knows what's going on with her body.
Yeah.
So like, why would they not know what's going on with? You know what I mean? Like they've experienced the cramps, the periods, and X, Y, and Z. Like I would prefer a female OB, but that's just my personal opinion.
That's how I am too. But like my sister and like all of my family, like all the family on my mom's side, they all have the same guy, like male OBGYN, and he delivered both of my sister's babies, and he's amazing. But I don't feel like I would be comfortable, But anyways, so I was like, okay, let me like, where's a clinic that only has like female doctors. And so then I moved to that one. And then we found out I was going to move. So then I moved across the freaking country to North Carolina. So then I had one there that I didn't necessarily like. So we went there for my first appointment there. And then there was another doctor in that same facility that had really good reviews. So I started seeing her. We saw her while I was there. And then we moved back. And then I started seeing, okay, so I really had like four.
Yeah.
But I started seeing the lady that I ended with there. And I was like, are you sure you're going to be here like when I deliver? And she's like, yeah, but I'm going on vacation this week. And I'm like ready. I'm like 36 weeks. And I was like, okay, like I really feel like this baby's going to come early, but okay, like if you sure you'll be back. And she's like, yeah, I'm almost positive. She wasn't. I went into labor like a couple of days later.
Bye.
So I ended up having a freaking midwife come in, like her midwife that's on call for her while she's gone. Yeah, she delivered my baby, but everything was fine. But yeah, so.
But like when you have a plan and then it doesn't, it just switches. It's
freaking everything. Yeah. Everything with Leo was so hard. Like I am so jealous of those women that like you. They're like, I had such an easy pregnancy and like I love
it was great.
Stuff. But like you earned your stripes, so I'll give you that.
Thank you.
But like the women that are like, oh yeah, like pregnancy is so beautiful, everything about it is amazing, and like I feel great,
smell like
and
flowers and I don't sweat like you don't.
And I'm like,
because I'm
grateful.
melting.
I'm so grateful for my body to be able to carry a child, but I freaking hate pregnancy. Like I hate that part. There's a good like maybe month and a half where like you feel good. You feel good and you're like, okay, this isn't so bad. You start feeling the move and you can like watch a move and that's kind of cool. But then like, and that's before you get to the part where you have like killer freaking heartburn and you freaking sweating and you can't sleep and everything hurts. Everything besides
I hate you. I'm just like, really?
No, that's the thing is like it is so hard. Like I really contemplated whether I ever wanted to have like more kids because the pregnancy part sucked so bad.
It was that bad.
So bad.
Oh my gosh. So how is Taylor?
He's like the best dad while like I'm pregnant. Like don't get me wrong, like he's amazing.
Well, I'm pregnant.
Like he's amazing before and after, but while I'm pregnant, he literally cleans the house, does the dishes. Like I don't like I'm because I granted like I am so sick that I like physically cannot.
Yeah.
like function, but he picks up my slack so
Yeah.
well, and like I don't have to ask for it.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, thank you so much for doing this. And like,
Well, it's well deserved.
and yeah,
Like
he will
you're
get
carrying
me.
his child.
And like, but like I always heard of like guys like going and getting, you know, like food and stuff, but still like women still having to like
Mm-hmm.
do like the
Yeah.
house
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could not do pregnancy without him.
Yeah.
He
It was that bad.
freaking like he's amazing. Like he would make sure that like my water was filled the night
Mm-hmm.
before, put it in the fridge so that I make sure I'm like drinking enough water. He went to every single
Mm-hmm.
like OB appointment, didn't miss like one, would drive me there because we only had like one car.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like during like birth and everything, it was just us because it was COVID, so they didn't let anybody else in.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was my freaking rock during that time.
Oh.
But yeah, he is like top notch dad during pregnancy, and like I always hear people talk about like, oh, you'll never forget, like women will never forget how the dads
Mm-hmm.
treated them during their pregnancy and
Yeah.
stuff. And I literally like could not have asked for like more because I'm like I was so sick, and he would just like, is there anything I can get you?
Oh,
Like
yeah. He was
just
very
do the dishes.
hands-on.
Yeah, like freaking amazing. But that part I mean I could get used to that part of pregnancy.
You can do it even after pregnancy. I would be totally fine with it.
And he does a lot, but during
Yeah.
pregnancy it's like he's on top of things, like
Mm-hmm.
because when I'm not pregnant, I'm very particular.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that during pregnancy is the only time I like let him
Yeah.
like do it without being like,
You're like,
oh, you
okay,
didn't do that. Right? Let me do the laundry.
don't touch it.
That's still one thing that I do still like doing even when I'm sick and pregnant is my laundry.
Your laundry.
I can't let anybody else do it. I will do it like it will take me forever, but I will do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, pregnancy, not my
Not your thing.
thing. I love being able to have children, but that
You know
I'm gonna put a
what?
poll to
But
see how many other people feel like this because it can't
I'm
just be me.
curious. I want to
It can't
know.
just be me.
Mhm. I mean, and I have met women that get really sick. Like, I think your case was like one of the first ones that I'm like, I didn't, because I'd never met anybody
Mhm.
that could get this sick during
I lost
pregnancy.
25
I
pounds.
know.
I got down to 139 pounds. I haven't been that since freaking junior high. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be like the
Yeah, you're
biggest I've
not
ever
supposed to
been.
be
Yeah,
losing weight.
it's
Yeah, besides
insane.
you, I only have one other friend who is now pregnant. We're excited to find out what her baby will be on Sunday. Her gender reveals on Sunday, and Paul and I get to hold the envelope so we know what the baby
Ooh.
is. It's been hard not to say anything, but she's like the only other person that has been sick, like really sick during their pregnancy besides you. So I'm curious to hear like what that
Now,
number will be.
yeah, because I'm like, I can't just be the only one that doesn't like this part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pregnancy is so freaking hard.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, there's
Hmm.
only like a month where I liked it, where I'm like, okay, if it was like that all the time, like
Uh-huh.
that's how I imagine all those other women like
Yeah.
you that like love it.
You're like, this is
I'm like,
great.
this is what they're talking about.
But
I feel good.
every
I want to
baby is,
clean. I want to do
yeah,
everything.
every baby is different, is what I've heard. I've only
Mm.
had one, like full term pregnancy. So I've heard that a lot of people have like different experiences depending on the gender of the baby, but I don't know if that's a real thing.
All of the like old wives' tales
Mm-hmm.
told me that Leo was going to be a girl. So
Really?
until like, and even like the day we found out, I was like,
Are you
Mom, are you sure?
sure?
Like, you
Yeah.
sure you read that
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, because
It's
even
gotta be a
like
girl.
is it the Japanese calendar that tells you
I think it's Chinese.
Chinese?
I don't
Okay.
know. One of the
One of
two.
those two. Um, Eli was supposed to be a girl too.
Yeah.
Remember? We were
Mm-hmm.
supposed to have girls.
I know.
We were like,
We're like, we
crap.
got this. And we both have boys.
Yeah.
Boy moms.
Bye, moms. I'm
But,
down with that.
but yeah, so your pregnancy was like
My pregnancy
easy
was,
breezy.
it was so, well, my pregnancy was easy, but I had a couple scares.
Yeah.
There were a couple times where I'm like, the baby's not moving.
Mm.
He has been freaking laid back and lazy since the moment he was probably conceived. Because
See,
even in
mine's the
the womb,
opposite.
Yep, even in the womb, he did not like. People were like, "Yeah, my baby does flips," and I'm like, "Mine does not do flips."
You could literally see Leo's foot like go across my belly, and like it was
Yeah,
some wild like alien
yeah,
shit.
no,
Like,
mine was pretty easy, but um, yeah, Paul and I found out we were pregnant in the fall, and we told our families like during Christmas that we were
mhm,
expecting. And from the get go, I had a pretty easy pregnancy, except for like a couple of scares where we ended up in the ER maybe twice.
mm,
Um, and both of those times was when I started spotting. And so
mm,
immediately, like, trigger, we got
yeah,
to go. Like, we don't go to no Instacare, nothing. We go straight to the
emergency,
hospital.
yeah.
Um, but no, I had a pretty easy pregnancy. I didn't have the heartburn. I
I
think
hate
I
you.
had like the morning sickness one time when my brother-in-law
One
was
time?
one time,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
wow. Um, my brother-in-law was cooking breakfast, and I was like, "Is this what morning sickness is?" Because I was trying to get ready for work, and he's like cooking all this like, well, I can't even. I don't think I can eat sausage ever since, because just like the smell of it reminds me of how sick I got that
Mm,
one time that I got really sick. I was like, "You have to take that outside." Like, I wasn't trying to be rude, but I'm like, "Okay, I totally get it." Like, I understand why sometimes people can't even eat certain foods after
yeah.
pregnancy because it makes them so sick. But yeah, no, I from the moment I found out I was pregnant until now, until I had him, I wasn't, I had a lot of crazy cravings, but that was it.
See, I only had one craving, and that was freaking maple bars. And in North Carolina, they don't make maple bars.
What?
Yeah, so I had to wait until I came back to Utah every time to have my maple bar. I got
That's
that.
terrible. That's bad.
I know. I was
So,
like, I would get so mad because they made
excuse me.
like regular just like donuts with like BS maple frosting,
Yeah, this is
but
fake.
it wasn't a maple bar.
Yeah, but with like, it was weird because with Eli, if it wasn't spicy, I didn't even want to.
Really?
Yeah, no. So whatever I ate, it had to be spicy. So every night I would send him down to like the like little junk food, Mexican junk food places, and I'm like, I want this, 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 and this, and elotes were my thing, like
Mm-hmm.
extra chile, or like a slushy, but it had to have something spicy in it. Like if I would binge, like at that time in our old house, we had a garden in the back where we were doing like cucumbers and zucchinis and tomatoes. So
Yeah,
I
I
would
remember
slice up
that.
my tomatoes and just like squeeze as much lime and salt and hot stuff on it as I could.
I
But
remember we'd
that
have girls' nights and you'd be like, "Hey,
tried,
how much Valentina do you want on your cucumbers?" And I was like, "Valentina
you're
and
like, what?
cucumbers."
What do you
Now I
mean?
really like it though.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like
Just not the
literally,
black Valentina because that stuff's too
no,
spicy
the
for me.
black label is really spicy.
That was too
I
spicy for me.
can't do the black label
That's
either.
the one you wanted.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
it
put
would
that on there one time
it would make sense.
and it messed me up. And I didn't trust
It
you.
messed me up. Don't ever trust a Mexican when they tell you it's not that
Yeah,
spicy.
I always have to ask her. I was like, okay, is it spicy to you, or is it not spicy to you, or is it not spicy to me?
Yeah. 'Cause I'm like, it's not spicy to you. And she'll eat it and then
Yeah, and
she'll
I'm
tell
like,
me
you
that I lied.
liar.
You lied. But yeah, no, I had a pretty like a very easy I enjoyed my pregnancy so much. Up until like towards the end where it was just starting to get hot and uncomfortable, and I called it my pregnancy pillow was my boyfriend pillow. Like I wouldn't even cuddle with it at the end because I'm like I can't get comfortable. Like
Yeah, that
I
part
would just sit
sucks.
like this in the corner of the bed so Paul would have like a bunch of pillows, and I'm like, okay, this
Sitting
is
up,
it.
I know, because
Yeah.
you can't lay flat.
No.
You like
You
suffocate yourself.
can't lay on your belly. I'm like, can we just put like a hole in the mattress so I can just like, and that's how I used to sleep, was always on my
Your
stomach.
stomach.
But obviously, after not being able to for so long, I am now like a side sleeper. So it's messing up my shoulder. But Paul was great. Like my whole pregnancy, if it was like 2 in the morning, I'm like, I need this. And he's like, okay, I'll go. But I had cravings, but most of my cravings was Paul, which was weird. So we
What?
would be, yeah, Paul had a lot of cravings.
Oh,
Like,
I thought you meant like
no, 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 no,
most of
no,
my
no,
cravings were
no,
Paul.
no, no, no. Like most of the cravings that I had, like mine weren't as bad as Paul's work. Like he always wanted, like we
Oh.
would drive somewhere. He's like, babe, doesn't this sound good? I'm like, no, that does not. But if you want to, we can go. Or like, babe, do you know what's out? Like all of the time. Like I've heard that sometimes the guys get
Oh
all of the
yeah.
cravings, and that's how Paul was. That's how my little brother has been with both of their kids. Like he's always the one that's like, doesn't this sound good? So he, yeah,
Do you think that maybe it's because like now they have like an excuse?
maybe. But my mom has always said that this is just a Mexican mom with her old, what is it, wives' tales? Is
Yeah.
that how it is, what it is in English? Um, they say that because like obviously you're together and you kiss, like hormones go back and forth. So
Yeah.
she thinks that that's what it
I
could
mean
be.
that would make sense.
Yeah, so she's like, I think it's because you guys share your hormones and maybe they're getting more of, I don't know. But
Sympathy pains,
yeah, I
what I like to
was,
call them.
I don't, I can't remember if I don't think I was emotional, like hardly. I don't think I was very
Oh,
emotional at all. Were
that's
you a
Taylor's
disaster?
favorite part about me being
Oh,
pregnant.
really? Poor guy.
I'm already like when I'm not pregnant,
Hmm.
I'm emotional as heck. But when I'm pregnant, oh, the waterworks. Literally everything. Like
Yeah,
there was
no.
one day where he told me no to something. And I was like, why? I'm pregnant. You should let me do this. I was like, why did you
Please.
tell me no?
Like a
Why do you hate
$10,000
me?
purchase. You can't tell me
And
no.
it was something so stupid, but I was like, why do you hate me?
Can't believe you would do ruining my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did not. I worked up until my due date. So literally the last day that I was at the barber shop was a Friday and I was a Saturday and I was like, "Hey guys, this is it. I'm leaving the shop. I'm not coming back until the baby is born and probably I'm taking like 4 months off and then that 4 months turned into 2 years." But I was like, "Hey," and then I texted him the next day. I'm like, "Guys, remember when I told you that I was gonna work up until my due date? Here's the baby." Like literally Eli came the next day.
Oh my
So yeah,
gosh.
I worked up until my due date. But because my pregnancy was so easy, besides just having this giant belly that I had to carry everywhere, I like my life still was like normal. Tried to stay active at the gym and still try to do like my daily
Normal.
routines. Yeah. I mean, it just like the different experiences that we've
I
had, like
know.
with pregnancies, like it just varies. There are some women whose recoveries are easier than others. Some women, like, it's a lot harder on their bodies, but um, I don't know. For me, it was just like I can't. I'm like, and you know how I am. I can't. I cannot not.
You cannot not. That's exactly. Yep. Yep. But the fact that that makes so much sense to me, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you mean. You
yeah,
can't not be
not
doing something.
yes.
You can't be down and out for very long.
No. I mean, it goes to show, like, even after I had Eli, I'm like, I'm done. I'm ready to go. Like the second day, I'm like, get me out of here. I cannot just lay
I
here.
know.
But yeah, I can't complain about my pregnancy. I always tell
I
Paul,
can.
I'm like, I know that God knew that I needed something
Yeah.
easy in my life, and that's why my pregnancy was so easy. Besides the two scares that we ended up at the, like at the ER, it was pretty just really chill from there. And I did have like the weird things like don't eat like the cold meats and don't eat the raw
Mm-hmm.
fish and stuff like that. And I was very careful with what I ate.
Me
And my mom
too.
would be like, that's weird.
You're
You
fine.
can eat it.
Yeah.
She's like, well, en mi tierra, like in my land where we're from, she's like, we don't do that. I'm like, okay. But it's so funny, like traditions
Mm-hmm.
and like different cultures have different things
Even
because,
like different ages. Like, because
hmm,
my grandma was the same way. She's like, "You really not gonna eat that?" She's like, "I ate everything. We didn't have that when I was there. Like,
yeah.
we didn't do that." I'm like, "Well, we do it now."
Well, in my age, my time, and yeah,
Yeah.
for real. It's just, like different times now, and we all have such different
Mm-hmm.
experiences. But oh, mine was pretty easy, and Paul was he was great through through my entire pregnancy. And there were times where he was like, "Here, come here, put those little fat feet up here," and he would like rub my feet because
Your feet got so swollen. That was one thing.
girl,
That was one thing with your pregnancy that I didn't
they look,
experience.
my feet look like
I didn't
torta
swell.
bread, like
that bread.
Yeah, they were like,
I'm
literally.
never gonna be able to eat it the same again.
MJ's feet.
You know, like when they didn't like cut off like the little thing, there's like a little bump.
Gross.
You ruined that.
I'm
You're
sorry.
rude.
I'm making you tortas for dinner tomorrow.
You go.
But yeah, dude,
Yeah,
they were bad. Like
you're
towards the
swelled up.
end, I was like, you know what I look like? I look like Wally people. What you look like?
That's so Raven, that episode.
You're so dumb.
She said she swells up.
Yeah, she's huge. You bitch.
That's funny. I'm crying.
Dude,
Oh
yeah,
my
I
gosh.
was so swollen.
That
But
was the only thing I didn't ever experience during
no,
my,
and then
my period, my
postpartum
pregnancy.
swelling for me came like 4 months later, but that's a whole different story for a different day. But yeah, besides like
Oh,
swelling,
funny.
like maybe the last two weeks was bad. But like yeah, he was really sweet and very helpful, like because I was still working my full-time job and it's not like I can't cut hair sitting down.
Yeah.
I mean I could, but I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
So I would just come home from like a long day of work and he would always tell me, he's like, you don't need to work, like we're fine, like you don't have to work. I can do it, but it just, I mean, I'm a business owner and I can't just leave my business and not, tend to it. But I was still trying to like take care of my clients and make sure that everybody knew, like, hey, I was still trying to place them with like different barbers for when I did went on maternity, went
When I
on
did go on maternity leave.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you meant.
gosh. Whew. When I did go on maternity leave, they knew exactly like which barber they would go to because I wanted to make sure that they were with the right
Yeah.
barber for the time that I was going to be gone. Um, so I was still working my regular job, and yeah, he was just helpful during the whole time. And
What was one of your favorite things that like he did for you while you were pregnant? That like you were the most like, thank you. Oh my gosh.
I think it was just him getting me all my snacks. Like whenever I was like, hey, I'm feeling this, he's like, okay, babe. I don't know if it was just like, damn, okay, she wants that, so I'm gonna get one too.
Yeah.
But no, like he was very kind. Like he never made me feel weird about wanting like my weird food that
Yeah.
I like, my cravings. Like he never made me feel like, really, that's what you want. Like he was like, okay, if that's what you want, that's what I'll go get. And even if it was like 11 o'clock at night, because that was when we were watching like The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Remember? Like you nested with me.
Oh heck yeah. We were sitting there like putting baby clothes away, folding them after we washed them and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we, even if it was like 11 or 12, he's like, yeah, I'll go and I'll go pick this up for you or something. But I think that was just how like
attentive.
attentive he was with me. I think that was my favorite part. Like he just cared. I think that we were just so ready for this that he like when the time came, he was just very caring and loving and
he was so ready.
Yeah, it's not that he's not now, but it's just
it's different when you're pregnant and like you're expecting that baby and like I don't know, like I agree, like it is just different. Like they're still great dads.
Yeah.
But like
it's just a different type of love. I feel like they have like, it's not like they feel bad for you, that they're like, oh my gosh, her body is doing so much and they're carrying my child. Like the least I can do is go pick up snacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, just like even him rubbing my belly or when he would talk to Eli in my belly, that was my favorite. We would like lay in bed and he would like pull my shirt up and he's like, what's up, buddy? Like you would talk to him and I loved that. Like that was our like, that's like the beginning of like your family time. So
that was one thing that Taylor and I started like early on, is like instead of like me rubbing like my oils or like my lotion on my belly side, like when it gets stretch marks and stuff, Taylor would do it.
Yeah.
Like, just because like it kept us connected and like it felt amazing for me not to just like lay there and
be like, thank you. Have you ever seen that TikTok that, I mean, if I by some incredible miracle of God, I can have a baby again, where the dad like lifts
Taylor
up
does
the
that. Yeah, he did that to me
did
all
he?
throughout my pregnancy because I showed him that one day.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't show him it. I told him about it, and
Yeah.
so like he would like when I was like doing dishes or something, and he like get home from like a close like late at night,
Uh-huh.
he'd come up and I'd be like, oh
Thank
my God,
you.
that's the best.
Sometimes I'm like, I wish you would have done that to me. He's like, babe, our baby was like 3 pounds up until like 2 weeks before you had him. He was like the tiniest little thing. But yeah, so I always see that and I'm like, I wonder what that would have felt like. Like
It
if I
is
hope
the
like
best feeling.
when I get
Like
pregnant again, I'm be like, hey,
it takes so much pressure off your back because
I
like when
bet.
you're big like that, like you know how like you
Mm-hmm.
kind of like
Mm-hmm.
try to
Kind of
like
arch a little
yeah
bit,
to
yeah.
like overcompensate for your
Mm-hmm.
big old belly. That it's like when they like lift it up,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like oh
Yo,
I don't
homo
have
poodle.
a pooch. No, but yeah, like it is. It's the best feeling. I
Oh,
loved that part. I forgot about that part, but I did love that part.
so
And
fun.
there was one time that like I will never forget. So because we had to fly back and forth
Mm-hmm.
all the time to come see his daughters and for me to see like you guys and my family and
Yeah.
stuff. And there was one time where he didn't get to come back, and so
Yeah.
I had to be. Ooh, I just hit that. I had to fly home,
Mm-hmm.
well, fly back from being here by myself.
I remember
And so
that.
he picked me up. And when I got home, he had like lined the hall with
I
candles
remember that. Yeah, you
and like
told me
rose
about
petals
that.
and stuff. And he had made dinner and he got me all these like little gifts. He like bought me new tennis shoes because I was like, I want to start walking more because
Yeah.
I'm finally feeling okay.
Yeah.
You know, those 2 months I was
Mm-hmm.
talking about, I walked every day for those
Two
that little amount
60
of time.
days.
Yeah. But he like had bought me new shoes. He had bought me like lotions and stuff.
Oh.
And he like made a sign that said like "Welcome home,
Mm-hmm.
Mama" and stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like what? And
Why do you love
honestly,
me so much?
yeah, I cried and like at that moment I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna propose. Oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, yeah.
But
When you were telling me, I'm like, what? I was waiting for it. I'm
yeah,
like,
like
so
he just
something?
did it to do it. Like I don't
Yeah.
know why he did it. Like he just is kind. But yeah, that like I did have a lot of good experiences while I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't get me wrong, but pregnancy itself was so hard for me.
Yeah.
'Cause I
I,
had a lot of like medical stuff too. Like
yeah.
my blood pressure was weird. I freaking failed my first glucose test, so I thought I
Yeah.
was gonna have gestational diabetes and had to do the
That's
3 hour
scary within
one.
itself.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and like just having to fly all the time and being pregnant and being sick and stuff.
It's a lot
It's a
of
freaking
stress.
disaster.
Yeah, and it's a lot of stress on your body. Like being pregnant already is enough.
Yeah.
And then having everything else on top of that. But
Yeah.
I think that if like we could give our listeners one piece of advice, like I would say, and I wish I would have done this, like listening to you
Mhm.
talk about it and us going like back and thinking about all these things, is keep a pregnancy journal. Like how
Yeah.
cool would that be to go back and be like, oh my gosh, we did
I
this
remember
when,
I was feeling like this that day, or
uh-huh.
this was a good day.
Yeah, yeah, I think that would be really neat to be able to look at it and read about like what your pregnancy was like with your first baby versus like what it would be with your second or third.
Mhm.
um I wish I would have done that because like when you were asking me like what's your favorite thing that you guys did, I'm like,
It was all kind
oh,
of a
like
blur.
things started
Yeah.
coming back, but also like there's a lot of things that I'm sure he did that I don't remember.
Yeah. Because
So
pregnancy brain is freaking real. It doesn't go away. Like, no, I'll scare you, but it doesn't go away.
so you start losing your mind from when you're pregnant.
It really does.
Yeah.
I never believed that.
Yeah,
But like
pregnancy brain.
once I got pregnant, like I'm smart, guys. I swear I'm smart. But since I got pregnant, I got real dumb. Like there's things
Yeah.
that like I forget everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I
Dang.
don't know how it works, but
I mean, we're lucky. We're lucky we have such like great men in our lives.
yeah.
So definitely grateful for our boys.
Mm,
I think they were really, really helpful during our pregnancy.
yeah.
So
We've definitely been blessed.
yes.
But that pretty much sums it up for me. I
Yeah.
can't say it anymore how much I absolutely love pregnancy so
It's
much and it's
so
the
much.
best thing.
Yeah. Well, I can say it. I absolutely loved it. And I hope that you know, like I said, if God wants to bless us with another baby at some point, I am more than happy to. Hopefully, it's as easy as the first one, but if it's not, I will carry that baby regardless of what, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, that will
I think that covers it mostly.
covers it for tonight. We want to hear what your guys' like favorite experience was, what your experiences with pregnancy.
If you like it, or you can be honest. We won't
We're
judge
not going
you
to
if you
judge you
don't
because
like it.
obviously our friend here isn't a big fan of it.
No, not a huge fan.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like having a baby is a beautiful thing.
And that was,
but sometimes pregnancy is just doesn't come easy for everybody.
And that was one thing that, like, when I started telling people I was pregnant, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna love it. It's so
Why
beautiful."
do people say that?
And like,
but okay, there is parts of pregnancy that is beautiful, but there's also other parts that you're like,
yeah, no one warned me about the hard
nobody
stuff.
told me.
None of it.
Yeah,
there was so much I didn't know that I was like,
that one weird test that they did. Remember when I told you? I'm like,
oh yeah,
they're gonna check your butt. You're like, they're gonna do what?
I'm like, huh? What? They're gonna do what? Not for me. They're not gonna do that to me.
No, you're not. That's funny, but no, you're not.
No, you're not.
I'm like,
but yeah, there's so much that like people don't like in society. They want you to think that it's like this,
pregnancy is gonna be
everything's gonna be
rainbows
and
and butterflies
and like, yes, it is a beautiful experience. And even though it's so hard for me, at least, I would do it all again.
Yeah.
But it's freaking hard. So if you are struggling with it, if pregnancy doesn't come easy to you and it's hard for you to keep a good mindset, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
There's a lot of people, I think. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself.
But that's why we
There's
do
at least one.
Because we want to know. We want to know if it was easy or if it wasn't. So, yeah, make sure you go on our polls and vote.
Yeah, we will put that up tomorrow.
We're curious what those numbers look like. So,
yeah, so we're going to tell you.
Go ahead and introduce our third cast member.
Okay.
That's going to be with us for
6 months?
6 months.
It's me. I'm pregnant.
Yay!
And the pregnancy is the exact freaking same.
So we're super excited to be able to bring another family member into this world. So
I have a little baby growing. I'm 11 weeks now, 11 and a half.
Yes. So,
but yeah, so
whether it be a boy or a girl, we are excited to have.
Still struggling with the all-day sickness this time again. I was hopeful that it might not happen this time around, but like I said, do it all over again.
Yeah, so that will do it for us tonight, you guys. We just wanted to share this amazing news with you guys that we're expecting. I mean, she's expecting, but since we're like technically one person, we're expecting.
But yeah, so next week we'll be kind of sharing our birth stories.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun and exciting.
Fun ones.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. Well, that is it for tonight. And until next time, mamas, because there is
no hood
like motherhood.
All right.
See you guys.
See you, mamas.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you leave this episode and every episode feeling the love and support of this awesome community of mamas. We also want to remind all you mamas that there is no better mama for your baby than you. You are exactly what they need. Only a good mom worries about whether they are being a good mom. And most importantly, the world is a better place with you in it. Tune in every Monday for a new episode, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at motherhood.aif. We are so excited to have you with us on this journey as we all navigate the toughest hood we'll ever go through, motherhood. We'll see you back here next week, mamas. We out.